Absolutely not. Absolutely, I did not see this coming. I sort of figured that there would be, maybe if we were lucky, about 1 million comic book fans maybe in the US who would kind of keep us going until we were canceled halfway through the second season, you know, and I thought, well, let's just do something we're proud of, and if we're going to fail, let's fail big and take risks. And a lot more people have come on the journey with us than I ever expected. It's been so humbling. It's incredible. No, actually, I think it does the reverse. I think it gives us the license to take even bigger risks, because you kind of get a sense, I mean, this is not, at least to me, a show that on paper you think is going to appeal to as wide a demographic as it appears to have. And so you sort of think, well, if people are going to go there with us, then let's really go there. And I think is very much what the third season is about. It's sort of looking around at what's happened in the last 2 seasons and going, okay, well, if they let us get away with that, then let's see what happens if we go over there. And it's exciting. It gives you, I think it gives you a little bit more free rein. I think a bomb went off between Rick and Lori at the end of the last season, and what's interesting to me is it wasn't because Rick killed Shane, and it wasn't because Lori told him he might have to do it, because that all worked out rather well. They both knew that it had to happen. Mission accomplished. It hurts, it's painful, but we got it. I think what happened is that in telling Lori about how it happened, he said, I wanted to do it. I wanted him out of the way. I was sick of him. And I think Lori gets very, her heart sort of turns to ice for a minute, and she thinks he's turned into the man that he just killed, and she recoils from him. And I think it's that moment where, rather than putting my arms around him and saying, you're a good man, I love you, you did what you had to do, I back off, and then he backs off. And it's like you have 2 people on an iceberg and a crack just comes through the middle. So I think the journey of the second season with these two is trying to, or the third season, excuse me, is trying to find their way back together. I'm a big believer in Rick and Lori. I think these two belong together. I think they love the living daylights out of each other. Neither remembers their life without the other one. But there is such a huge space of not only grief and loss, but self-loathing and shame that each has to cross in themselves before they can reach out to the other. I think the story of the third season for us is, how on earth do you cross that gulf? And then there's that. And then there's the fact that I may or may not be knocked up with his best friend's kid, who he killed because he became a crazy man. Yeah, the pregnancy makes the whole third season more acute for everyone, because it's now not just about, let's find a place where we can run and hide for a few days and then be on the road. We have to find a place to deliver a baby, and then we have to find a place where we're safe even if that baby makes noise, and then we have to find a way of feeding the baby, etc. So it presents a whole new set of challenges for this group. And I think Lori's central concern is that she be a burden to no one, to never say I'm hungry, to never say I'm tired, to never say I can't lift it or I can't do it or I'm afraid. And Rick puts an incredible burden on himself to try and protect her. And so you've got these people doing a sort of a gift of the Magi thing, where she's killing herself to not ask anything of him, and he's killing himself to take care of her. And yet there's this Cold War between them, where while everything we do is for each other, we can't look at each other because it hurts so much. In a very literal sense, it turns us all into the Walking Dead, realizing you realize that at the end of your life is a transition into a monstrosity that is unavoidable now. And I think until then, a lot of us were living our lives just to avoid that moment of being trapped in your own brain as it wakes up and you become something horrifying. So there's that, which I think is demoralizing. Also, for Lori, I think it has a great deal to do with the pregnancy, because if she loses that baby, that baby wakes up inside her. And that's a very quiet fear that I don't think she's even opened her mouth about. But I think it's the elephant in the room. I think everybody, one by one, at some point in the intervening months has gone, oh God, we could wake up in the middle of the night with this thing going, you know, doing an Aliens on us. It's possible that this is inevitable in anything Gail Ann Hurd produces, that eventually, although I don't blame her. When it comes to somebody like Shane, you know from the comic books that he's going to go, but it's devastating personally. I mean, this is an incredibly close cast, especially those of us who've been around since the pilot, and losing Dale and losing Shane. I think it's courageous TV, and I think the audience needs to believe at any second that any major character can go. Otherwise, the story has no teeth. So I understand creatively why they had to do it. Jeff DeMunn and John Bernthal are two of the finest people I've ever worked with. They're two of my closest friends in the world after everything we've been through. And I was gutted. You know, I mean, it took us all probably about a month to just kind of go, so that's what it's like without them here. Okay. But this season, you know, we get a new gang, like we did at the beginning of the second season. For better or worse, at the end of the third season, the cast is going to look very unlike what it looks like at the beginning of the third season. It's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. But I think it's also good storytelling.